Hey, you gotta stop this shit, man. Hey. Stop this shit, man.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about the trending story of Rampage Jackson's son, Raja, or Ray J. Jackson, attacking a pro wrestler at a pro wrestling event. Let's tune more to the locker room.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody.
Hey, guys, this is Dr. Ring Scandal, a.k.a. KDH. This is the Turnbuckle King in the building. Today, we're going to talk about why Rampage Jackson's son, Antics, calls wrestling company lose partnership. We're going to talk about what taking it too far has consequences. Let's talk about it, guys. Get the license. We coming to the locker room. We about to air some dirty laundry as usual. Now, we know recently, this past weekend at a wrestling event, we know that Roger Jackson, the son of ex-UFC champion Rampage Jackson, real name Quinton Jackson, he attacked a pro wrestler at an LA show. Now, this was part of KnokX Pro Wrestling Academy. This is where he was slamming the wrestler Stuart Smith. The real name is Syko Stu to the mat. Now, this is when Jackson was mouthing off Smith in the video, punching in the face about 24 times before the other wrestler had to pull him off. Smith, who had lost consciousness, was not able to protect himself by the punches, lay motionless in the ring, blood streaming from his face. Now, in the Facebook post Monday, his brother said Smith was conscious and does have some recollection of events from the day of the attack. He's currently resting and says thank you for love support. Now, we know that Rusev and other people reached out on social media. They wish him to get well. I know Rampage Jackson did a video saying, how he's sorry on his son's behalf and how he does not condone what his son did. The crazy part is, why are we letting people get into this wrestling doing all this stuff? Now, apparently, they said it was a little storyline going on. They went off script, whatever, and that's what happened. According to Syko Stu, he didn't know that Raja was going to do that. Now, I heard also that Raja was told to do that, and the guy that told him to do it, he was recently fired from KnokX Pro Wrestling. Now, it's crazy because this stuff is a regular event, and he's being investigated by LAPD. And if this gets real serious, LaRaja could serve some time for this. Now, I do have an interview. Now, we know this is the promotion that Rikishi owns. Hall of Famer, Rikishi off the Fatu podcast, host of that. So this is a bad look for him because we know recently, after the aftermath of all of this, they have lost a partnership with the WWE ID program. He was one of the wrestling schools alongside Cody Rhodes Wrestling School, Booker T, Seth Rollins School that was partnered with WID, but they have cut off ties with KnokX Pro Wrestling because of this event. So this caused a partnership to be gone. It's dissolved now because of this whole thing. Now, I know Rikishi, they said he had nothing to do with it. He was not aware of what happened, but I know Rampage Jackson, he speak on what happened.
Since the unfortunate incident this weekend, it's hard for me to talk about it, but I'm just keeping 100. I feel bad about what happened to Syko Stu. I don't condone what my son did at all. Very, very unfortunate. If I was there, things went down, but I wasn't there. But I'm a father, so I gotta have my son's back. But I'm gonna let justice you know, play out, take its course. You know, ain't much I can do on that side, but be a father. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know I can't talk about that shit. I can't talk about any details and stuff like that. I can't really go into nothing. I hope y'all can respect that. You know what I'm saying? I can't say much about that shit. You know, it's really not my place to say anything, and we gotta let this shit play its course. This shit put me in like a bad mood. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad about Syko Stu and his family. His family had to see that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know all the stuff that went on. I just wish it was. I just wish I could have been there, but I couldn't. I was out of state, dropping my other kid off at college. You know, helping her move into the dorm and stuff like that. But you know.
Now, that was Rampage Jackson speaking on a Facebook post, talking about what happened. And he does not condone what his son did. Now, what we did do is there is a recent video from yesterday, JBL, the Hall of Famer. He speaks about it with Conrad Thompson on the podcast of what happened. They talk about the Roger Jackson thing, and JBL speaks what he has to say. I think it's on the Something to Wrestle podcast, but he definitely was not pleased with what happened either.
Pro wrestling. He used to wear the old JYD logging chain to the cage. I just absolutely love me some Rampage. I had no idea that his kid was following in his footsteps and getting into MMA. Raja, or Roger, as is how some people have called him, but R-A-J-A is his first name. He's the son of the former UFC light heavyweight champion, Quinton Rampage Jackson. And now, according to TMZ, he's in the crosshairs of the LAPD. If you didn't see this over the weekend, there was a independent show called KnokX Pro Academy in Los Angeles. And I guess, you know, Raja fancies himself a streamer. I think he has a deal with Kick, which is what all the kids are doing these days, or so I hear. And so as he approaches the backstage area, John, to just, you know, make his way into the wrestling show, I'm sure the performer who was going to be working with him, and I think his name is Syko Stu, or Syko Stu, he knew, hey, I'm going to be working with that guy. So he took what I believe to be an empty beer can that sounded empty and did a little working shot to hit him over the head. And Jackson didn't do anything. And you could hear Stu say something along the lines of, hey, are you not going to sell it? And obviously Mr. Jackson was very upset. This was not discussed ahead of time, not planned. But wrestling a lot of times is improv, so maybe that's where this came from on Stu's standpoint. If you watch the feed long enough, you'll see Stu apologize to Mr. Jackson, not once, not twice, but 3 times, to the point where they're shaking hands multiple times. But then when Jackson takes a front row seat at the show and the matches are happening, you see someone come and approach him and sort of give him the heads up of when the cue is, when he's supposed to slide in for his planned spot. But he's even telling people, Mr. Jackson is, on his kick stream, hey, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy. I'm going to start punching him, and I'm not going to stop until they pull me off. And that's exactly what happened. He picked him up and dropped him right on his head, the back of his head, slams against the mat. He's clearly got a concussion at that point. He's unconscious. And he rained down not 1, not 2, but he threw 27 strikes. I think over 20 landed. The result we're hearing is multiple broken bones in his face, multiple broken teeth, to the point where he starts choking on the blood and the teeth. As we're hearing, he actually flatlined. Now, I know that this was not planned by KnokX Pro Academy in Los Angeles, and I couldn't believe this, but I saw it this morning. These goofs actually covered Stu afterwards for the pinfall. I can't believe that's real. But at that point, Jackson was out of the building, but other wrestlers had to intervene. One of the other independent guys is biting him on the shoulder. This was an ugly scene. And the stream continued as we saw Jackson almost cutting like a hyped up promo. They're going to stop playing with me, and they're not going to call me a bitch, and almost trying to justify what had happened. But there's no other way to describe this. This was a crime. Was it not, John?
100%. Attempted murder.
Yeah.
there's no other way to describe it. And I'm gonna give you some caveats about what could have been done, but I want to make it very clear. This is 100% Raja Jackson's fault. 100%. The fault and the blame lies 100% with this man. I feel sorry for Rampage, who seems like a really good guy. His talk about his son had a concussion. We can talk about that in a minute, and that he never should have been there and been in that situation, which is, I think, correct. But 100% of this blame goes on Raja. I mean, no matter what happens here, once this guy's out, the fight's over. If it is a fight, the guy didn't know he was in a fight. So forget about the fact that, that the guy thought he was working and, he knocks him out. But at that point, it's just attempted murder. I mean, you're hitting. I don't care what happens. I don't care if this happened in the back. A guy's down and out and you just keep punching him. There's no call for that. If this, apparently what happened backstage was not planned. He hit him over the head with something, maybe a gimmick bottle or a can or something, whatever it was. And you could tell he didn't know what was coming, or at least it certainly didn't look like it. If Raja would have just punched him then, people would have thought, you know what?
Yes.
Deserved.
Yeah.
We get it. Shouldn't have done it. Guy's an MMA fighter. He didn't know it was a work. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But it didn't. And then at that point, whatever you do, I feel sorry for Rikishi. He's part of KnokX Pro. This happened at his show. Which he had nothing to do with this. He runs a good show. It's not him. So much happened here, and so many people are going to be a fallout from this. And this is 100% on Raja Jackson, and no one else can. You can say what could have happened, and it's easy to do. I can tell you what should have happened in backstage, but there's no reason for this to happen from Raja Jackson's point, especially once you've hit him and knocked him out. That's attempted murder.
Rampage was also on stream, and someone handed him the phone to show him the clip of what happened, and you could see his face change as he watched it. And he looked to someone off camera and he said, Raja's going to probably go to jail.
Yeah.
And probably lose his kick deal. Those feel like foregone conclusions. Yeah. At this point, it's not a matter of if he's in trouble, but how much.
Yeah.
And I guess at this point, there's two things to consider. Will this be a civil thing? Will this be a criminal thing? Will it be both? And neither one of us really know, because we haven't heard from Stu. I do know that Stu's brother has posted that if you see a GoFundMe, it's not them, but he is recovering, and we hope to hear more. We've learned that in 2009, he was struggling with some PTSD. He had proudly served our country and decided to jump into his love of professional wrestling. And guys like Rusev, who we've talked about in wrestling this weekend in WWE, said he's worked with this guy for a long time and knows him to be, there you go. I've known and trained with Stu for 15 years. He's a former U.S. Army veteran and an amazing guy. There are no excuses for what happened in that ring. Praying for a strong kick out. And to your point, you did mention this.
Now, that was JBL and Conrad speak about the whole thing. And yes, Raja Jackson should be held responsible. But Rampage, this is bad on your end. Now, you are the ex-UFC fighter. You worked hard to maintain a reputation. But because of what your son did, he makes you look bad. He's a representation of you. And if his son was trying to get clout attention this way, this ain't the way to do it. Because people are going to look at him like he a wild hooligan and lost his mind. Possibly could do time for this, all because of some antics that could have been prevented. But other than that, though, this is ridiculous. It's just social media and the day and age we in today. People think they just go in and do whatever they want. It's really true. People want to go business for themselves. And the thing about it is, if you're going to do this a wrestling event, even if you were told to do it, talk to the person that you're attacking or having a physical confrontation with. Talk to them about it first. See what's going to go, because you knew that man was not going to be cool with you punch him like that. It just lead one thing to another. This man was close, very close to losing his life. And thank goodness he's not lost his life. He's still here. He's conscious now. Had he done that, he'd been way world trouble than he is already of what he's doing. So it's just, man, pro wrestling and the fans and whoever, they just give pro wrestling, stuff like this to give pro wrestling a bad name, a bad reputation. Because we know that wrestling's not one of the four, it's not a major sport or one of the four major sports, but the way wrestling has been popular today, the way it's been booming, you want to gain a good reputation. I mean, wrestling's all over. We see it on social media. We see it with these new TV brand major deals and everything. When we see independent stuff like this happening, it just makes wrestling look better as a whole. So we just got to do better as a whole. But that's all I have for why Rampage Jackson's son Antics calls Pro Wrestling Company to lose their deal, partnership. And this is when it's taking it too far, has consequences. You guys let me know what you think of the whole thing. Click the link below to the next video. Until then, guys, you already know what it is at this point. It's OUT.